you would step back from that ledge, my friend. It would cut ties with all the lies you've been living in. The angry boy's a bit too insane. I sing over the secret pain. What the hell? The hell
So
I'm
that's how the
doing
console feels.
here? Everyone has got to the feeling. Would you put the past away? Oh. Literal trash. What up, Rich? Artmore. Hi, Richard. How are you, brother? Little trash. We gonna see the kitten again? I don't know. She's probably sleeping in the garage right now, and I don't want to wake her up. She likes the warmth. For all their fur, they like it hotter. Oh. So what's the picture on the screen? Asked Literal Trash. That is a parking lot in Glendale. It's an old busted up parking lot across from a hotel I used to work at. The blue stuff is asphalt, and the pink stuff is either the rocks in the asphalt or the debris from the trees. It had been raining that day. I just looked at the ground and I thought, I want to take a picture of that. Vicorarmend Enu. Hello, Asoretic. What that? Doodoo. Hello. I Vietnam. Mike. Hello. Had in-law and my kid friends here. I've had about 7 people in my room house. 3-room house. Missed that last couple streams. Yeah. Mike, again, you don't owe me nothing. You don't have the time. You don't have the time. Assortic. Bro, my name. Okay, those characters aren't in English. There's S, ERT, or ERIT, maybe? Let me look here. Oh, it's Acer Pi Triangle Pi. What is that supposed to mean? I don't know. Well, I mean, how do you pronounce the triangle? Acer Pi. Yours sounds nice, Richard Leland. Yes. Richard is English, Leland is Gaelic. It's a family name. My grandfather's name was Leland Austin, and my father's name was Alan Richard. Steady boy, hello. Jaw, can you listen to a Brazilian song called Luisa by Rafael Rebelto? I think you will love. He was a great 80s 90s local guitarist and died with 28 years. Sorry, my English. YouTube does not like it when I do that. City boy, do you play an instrument? No, I do not. Bro, voice sounds like RDR game character. What is RDR? Mary Mistrada. Hello, Richard. What's up, Mary? Steady boy. Okay. Biffy. Free Ip Juba. Mike Sparkles. Hello, guys. I am new. Who are you, Rich? Or, who am I? Well, I'm Rich. Mr. Rich. If you would step back from that ledge, my friend. Asser Pie, what's your dog's name? Is that a cat or dog? This is a cat. This is Wolf. Wolf the cat. City boy, hey, do you want to see a vid of my playing guitar? I'll show a link. Why is Asser Boy crying? Mary. Wolf. Yes. Prussian 701. Yeah, you're Gaelic, alright. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roses falling. 'Tis you, must go and I must bide. But come ye back when spring is in the meadow, or when the valley is white with snow. Jim H., why is the U.S. so mentally unstable? Well, it's like this. The right wing and the left wing are both wings of the same bird. I mean, it's a mentally ill dodo bird with Tourette's, but it is our bird. Pat Saint, is that it? Your dog? That is my cat. The connoisseur of stupidity. What the hell is on your forehead? It's a wound. I work in very unpleasant temperatures, and I'm also diabetic, so I tend to get a lot of blemishes. Pat Saint, please stop singing. Well, alright, you gotta stop singing, but then I'll go to bed and get home. Dickin Insider, I feel like my credit score is going down from listening to this. Tricky one, you look like you support the trans community. Um, I have a friend who's trans. Ooh, so what's wrong with that? What's wrong with what, dude? Speaking whole sentences. Mike, happy Labor Day to all the people who make every day possible to live. Tilo Cheeseburger. Kiptiko Kenosnia. Asser Pie, bro, you'd look good if you worked out. Yeah, dude, I mean, I have to get my gym cleared out, but my refrigerator froze over, so I gotta get all the food out, unplug the dang thing, and then like let it defrost, and then clean out the condenser coil. And once I'm done with that, I can go working on the garage again. And I mean, you wouldn't believe the weight setup I have, bro. You wouldn't believe it, but I mean, like the place is just trashed, so I can't really walk around in there. So it's really hard for me to pump iron. I mean, once I do, I will be trying to live stream pumping iron on a different channel, but for the moment, Prussian Sing Sing was all right. Samuel McKendall's Dick Dennis Art. Dickin Insider. No way. TO2 Cheeseburger. Pat Saint, stop spending your grandma's food stamps. Art Richard, you're a good man. Thanks. Pat Saint, have you had any crazy stories from your security job? What do you define as a crazy story, bro? I mean, first week I was security officer. You know, I'm working at a torque wrench factory, right? And somebody comes up there and says, "Dude, we just had an overdose in the bathroom. Get the gate open. The ambulance is coming." So you know, ambulance comes, and I'm like, "Can I do something to help?" They said, "Go turn the air on in the ambulance," but the ambulance was turned off. So I switched the air on, but I mean, it didn't start blowing because the ambulance was, was parked. They didn't have the engine running, and they got the guy out on a stretcher. You know, but he had done heroin on duty, so he was screwed. You know, and he came back like 2 weeks later to pick up his tools because he was a mechanic. And he's like, "Man, I screwed up." I said, "Yeah, you did." He was getting married in 2 weeks. Threw his life away. That was a crazy story. M. Jalvard 303. Am I going to be murdered for no reason this time? I just want to join in on the conversation. Look, my mods can be a little protective, all right? And I mean, that's kind of what you want from mods. You want them to be protective. I'm going to grant that half the fun is hearing me tell people I'm going to bang their mom. But, just understand that my mods were chosen not because they're fans of the channel, but because they're very loyal and they care about me. Like Mike here. Dude, I mean, he's been there. TO2 Cheeseburger. I deal with a lot of homeless tweakers. Oh, God. I mean, every now and again, I walk in back of my facility and there's a bunch of people bent over from, like, whatever that drug that does that. Like, are you surviving? No. It's like, okay, dude. Mike, would you rather have a night where you deal with a lot of work or just a slow night with no action at work? Um, to be honest with you, I like there to be a measure of both. I mean, I like there to be things happening. I like there to be experiences happening, but I mean, it's like right now they reduced my hours at work. I lost 14 hours a week, so I am royally screwed. Have not been able to eat properly since I'm so upset. which, I mean, I could stand a few weeks of not eating properly, I guess. So, no biggie there. But it's like I say, my greatest nightmare is not being able to feed my animals. So, but now I have 1 8 hour shift and 4 6 hour shifts and no overtime. And it's like I go to work and most of the time there's just no one there. The place is deserted. And that's boring as F because, you know, I like there to be things happening. But on the other hand, I do get a lot of watching movies done, and I can get a lot of reading done, and I like doing those things. So a little of both. Egon Rowe, Jew, Mazel Tov. Acer Pie, I work out every day. My leg got injured 2 days ago, so can't move at the moment. Pray for me, brother. Okay. How were you injured, Acer Pie? Firstly speaking, are you taking a joint complex? Because if you have a ligament injury, you're not going to heal without a joint complex. And secondly speaking, typically for muscle recovery, you use calcium pyruvate. Okay? And that should speed the healing process. Also, make sure your diet is extremely well balanced. Get those antioxidants in there because those antioxidants are going to prevent other damage to your body and let your body focus on what's damaged. The big problems. J Melrid 303. I just said you're not the boss of me now. I one time. It's a song and got me. Okay, again, dude. Probably speaking, my mods were being protective, or maybe it was a mistake. It's possible too. TO2 Cheeseburger, thankful we are armed. City Boy, hello. Logan Rowe, what's wrong with the homeless tweakers? Um, Nothing so long as they're not like blocking a doorway or, their life is in danger. I mean, do you have any idea how hot it was in Los Angeles today? I've been handing out water bottles, it's John Fisher, scream if you could see my chat. If you could only see the way I love you, maybe you could understand. TO2 Cheeseburger, but we got out on patrol in teams. John Fisher, if you scream, I will donate money to you. Ah! Where's my money? Juan Delon, Richard, still I marry my, shall I marry my cousin? Well, I mean, I wouldn't marry my cousin, but I mean, maybe your cousin isn't, a dumb bitch. Fred Dad, okay. Tonya, I am working. Work it, girl, work it. Prussian 701, eat surkat. Or sauerkraut. Um, I have never been able to bring myself to eat that. I had a friend who was German, by the name of Ortner, which means hill dweller, and he loved sauerkraut. John Fisher, if you scream, I will donate you $500. I screamed, dude. You're not donating anything. J Marveled 303. This kid in the chat need help. John Fisher, what you stress on YouTube shorts? What? What do you mean? Speak in whole paragraphs. Egon Christie, you can get underemployment. Just file for it, little juicy boy. No, I make too much to get underemployment. You can get some amount of unemployment if you go from full to part time, but I mean you have to be making less than I think 60% of your paycheck. And that's just not what's happening. John Fisher on stream. No, dude, I screamed for you. You didn't pay me anything. So that's not enough. Okay, we could be screaming all day till you're happy, but Egon Christie, you can get underemployment just. Pat Saint, have you ever mushrooms? I've never mushrooms. Yeah, I can say that pretty definitely. Tonya M. Malvred 303. I am not kid. I am 40-year-old girl. And as El Pistafo would say if he was here, send me proof of life titty pics. TO2 cheeseburger. We stopped carrying Narcan. What? That's not our job. I would still carry Narcan if I could. Pat saying, have you ever done mushrooms? No. TO2 cheeseburger. Tricky, shut up. Moto, then scroll on weirdo. Eriki boy, that's on the Confederates. What's on the Confederates? James Boss, what if she was hot? What if who was hot? Juice, Tupac is the real you. Pat say, would you consider just trying to find another job? Yes. Yes, I will definitely be trying to find another job. Ari, how many calories do you eat a day? I don't count calories. Mary Mistrota, how many calories do you eat a day, Ari? Well, the real question is, Mary, how many calories is Ari's mom? Because, oh, I make that bitch shower first. Mike, Mary, penis don't have calories. Pat Saint, have you ever met a subscriber? I don't think so, no. Nim nim nim. Crossin 701. You kind of sound like Linkara. What's Linkara? Eriki boy, have you ever been diagnosed with dyslexia? Yes, I have. Eriki boy, when I was about 3 years old, my brother thought it would be really funny to smash my head into a concrete floor. And he hit the part of my brain that sees against the concrete. So my ability to communicate with the world is hampered because I literally can't see the way you see. The part of my brain that does that is damaged. Mike, 1999. No note, but thank you, Mike. Not a troll. James Lannister gained some weight. Or Jamie Lannister. I don't watch Game of Thrones, dude. I don't know what that means. Teresa Jones. Hello from Teresa in T. My mother's middle name was Teresa. Aiden Russell. Sup, man? Jacob Brooks. Hey, it's me again. Hopefully you remember he in couple of months. Teresa Jones. Hello from TN from Teresa. Not a troll. You miss out, bro. Lululemon. What, Richard? Roy Rogers. How are you doing, Chris Farley? Well, I'm doing your mom. Oh, how am I doing? Well, I mean, she dresses in a tutu, and I wear the bow tie. Sweetheart. Eh. Come here. Nim. Nim, come on. Nim. My sweetheart. Nim. Nim. Trying to get her somewhere where you can see her. Mike, Richard, they have glow in the dark Oreos. How can food glow without chemicals? Um, Mike, the definition of a chemical is that which cannot be mechanically separated. So, um, Oreos are made of chemicals. My experience is those things don't really glow in the dark. I mean, I've never really experienced food that glows in the dark that actually glows in the dark. Lululemon, laughing. Cal Chuoni, you look great with short haircut and mustache. I can't grow facial hair. Eriki Boy, 0.99 euros. Thank you, Eriki Boy. I have friends and family with dyslexia, so I know it's a struggle. Keep it up, man. Yeah, I mean, you gotta understand something, bro, is that when you have a problem like this, people are like, F it. Roll in a corner and die. You know, it's like my brother's schizophrenic. And he stopped talking. I mean, like, seriously. I'd walk up and I'd call his name, and I'd call his name, and he'd just look at me. And finally, I'd say, blink if you can hear me. He'd blink. And that's all I would get out of him. And one day, I mean, the guy I knew was in the hospital. We went to the hospital to see him, and my brother nearly fainted. Okay. And, you know, like, I remember I grabbed him by the shoulder and I was leading him to the break room where we could have him sit down. And I got him a soda out of the machine. And he just goes, you know, it's like, well, I didn't eat today. So finally I go to his doctor and I say, look, you have to change his medication. He's not talking anymore. And she's like, well, what do you want? What do you expect? Well, not this. My brother is dying. He had lost 150 pounds. He was skin and bones. And I mean, you know, like when he was taking that medication, he was like, yeah, you know, I like the fact that I've lost so much weight. But afterwards, he refused to go back on it, even though, like, he's like 400 pounds now. Madison, look up the Nickelodeon logo history. Mike, you doing anything tomorrow for holiday? No. Um, you know, I stopped at the store. I told myself I wouldn't do that because of the refrigerator problem, but I stopped at the store on the way home. I was hoping to pick up some chicken, you know, some pre-cooked chicken. And they didn't have any. And I was like, okay, well, but I mean, I have at least two beers in the refrigerator I have to get rid of. So we'll hopefully be drinking those soon. And of course, the rule is I have to have them with a balanced meal. So, Jerry Riley, poor guy. What world can be a rough place? Sometimes the world can be my sister. Crispy bacon. Yeah, I'm very dyslexic and ADHD. Mary Mistrada, Madison, shut all the way up. Madison, have you seen the Bubble Guppies? Oh, dear God. Eriki Boy, ADHD is very rough on society where you need to sit still and focus on specific tasks. Jared Riley, do you think having hope in the future is a fallacy? Well, at some point things are going to get better. They may get worse first. Pat Saint, I'm 86 years old grandmother, wants to give you a gummer. Where's your grandmother? Totally down for that. Can I pretend she's Jamie Lee Curtis? Mike, Pet Sans pics. Send pics, yes. Madison, do you know Wildberry? Something I can't read. Red forehead dot. Now he's a Jewish Hindu. You know, guys, this would be great Dune cosplay. Crispy Bacon, would you always have to hope for the best in life but plan for the worst? Yeah. I mean, one of the most dangerous things in the world is when you lose hope. Signing Sabrina, hi. What's up, Sabrina? If you guys want to connect with Sabrina, she just might sell you some nudes. Jared Riley, how well versed are you in the major sciences? Reasonably so. I mean, I never really did understand quantum mechanics. Signing Sabrina, hi chat. Pat Saint, what's the longest stream you've ever done? 7 hours. Juan into Pink, good evening. Pleasure to be here. Madison, do you know Wildberry? Do you know Nevlana? Have you seen the Bubble Guppies? Don't you know what Nickelodeon is? Wolfie Wolf. If we get the transit back. Jared Riley, I find you, quote, unique. The overwhelming majority of science grads have no place for any sort of spiritual beliefs in their worldview. Jared, my background is in psychology, okay? And I can't deal with a patient if I don't respect their faith, okay? So, I mean, somebody comes in there and, they believe in God, I have to respect whatever God they believe in, okay? If they tell me they're a Odinist, I have to respect that, you know. So I'm very well versed in religion and spirituality, but I'm also well versed in science. Ariki boy, are you an atheist? I'm a Jew. Mike, how did the world start? Was it a bang? That's how the universe started. Again, Mike, back when the theory of evolution came out, there was a trial. And the guy, Juan into Pink, Madison is underage, so you don't want to be asking her questions about OnlyFans, okay? That's the kind of thing that they come to your house and ask you funny questions about. There was a trial, okay, and they basically said, well, the Bible says you're wrong, and the lawyer for evolution said, well, how do you define a day before man existed? You know, what does a day mean to God? Millions of years? Okay, God took 7 of his days to create the universe, but, how does that translate to our time? Maybe science is the language of God, and maybe it isn't. Now, I will say that the Catholic Church officially recognizes the Big Bang, and Stephen Hawking was actually invited to the Vatican with the world leading physicists, and the world leading physicists were asked, not to speculate about what happened before the Big Bang. So just, think about that. I mean, the world is a very strange place. Pat saying, if you're really a Jew, then where is your law degree? Right. Jared Riley, do you think pessimism is self-fulfilling? It can be. Madison, it's time for lunch. Juan into pink. Oh, thought this was 18. My bad. Madison is an interesting person. Signing Sabrina. Hi, Mike. Mike, I'm a conservative Republican Christian, but me and you are cool with each other. I respect what you think and interested. Hi, Sabrina. Yeah, again, Mike, just understand that, I mean, I have to professionally respect other people's religion. And when I worked with the homeless, many of them were Christians. I mean, many of them were Christians struggling with faith. And I can tell you something that it would not have helped them in any way to remove their faith. So, my take on the matter was I was going to be supportive, and it's why you'll see me talk about the Bible a lot because I did a lot of research on it, and it's like one of the things I've wanted to do is create a blog where I just post Bible quotes. The Bible, the Torah is to be read once a year by Jews, and the Bible is to be read once a year by true Christians. And that's just one of those things. Okay, so I wanted to get like a copy of the King James Bible and read every passage, okay, out loud, record the daily reading of the Bible, and post that online. And it's like, well, why would you do that? You're Jewish. Yeah, okay. But theoretically speaking, at least, the Bible is written about a Jew. So, and then the Torah is basically part of the First Testament. But it's just one of those things you have to understand is that, that's part of understanding people is seeing where they come from and respecting their faith. And if you don't respect someone's faith, aren't you kind of a dick? Sean Hughes, I think being religious is kind of primitive. Well, Sean, there is what we call the God neuron. There's some people that need to believe in God. So, don't kick them. They'll hurt you. Signing Sabrina. Who? Jared Riley, have you looked much into the Eastern beliefs? Not enough. I mean, I know a little bit about Zenism. Pat saying, if you're really a Jew, then where is your jewelry store? Okay, now that's just racist. Adiki boy, do you prefer Christianity or Islam? Well, Islam, that whole beheading people thing, I very much am against. Mike, Sabrina, I'm good. Good to see you here. God's son, both religions are true. Phil Perucci, Richard, Jared Riley, I believe hell is metaphysical, not some sort of underworld volcano in the physical sense. If you don't believe in hell, you've clearly never met my sister. Be in a room with my sister for 5 minutes. You will understand hell. Mike Philip. God's Son. Bible is to be read every day by true Christians. Okay, why are you repeating me? I mean, somewhere I actually do have, there's a daily in-sequence reading of the Bible. And again, what I wanted to do was get different translations of the Bible. The King James is typically the most poetic Bible, but the Geneva Bible predates the King James. And, it's like I've looked at websites that will have 4 or 5 translations. So, Artmore, hi Sabrina. Juan into pink. Everyone believes in something, even atheists. Charles Mackenzie, I don't really want to talk religion because freedom of religion and different people can believe what they want. That's the way Jesus wants it, called free will. Eriki boy, is homosexuality a sin? Okay, so that will depend entirely on who you ask. But in the Bible it says you are not to lie with another man as though they were a woman. That essentially means, brother, you got to be giving us kids. We need kids to keep the tribe alive, right? So, from my standpoint, as a Jew, I don't see a sin in homosexuality. I see a sin in not carrying on the species. So if you're a homosexual, I would simply recommend that you adopt. Or take a strong part in taking care of the children of others. People are what they are, and one of the things I have said many times to people who are struggling with an understanding of homosexuality is that perhaps God made so many diverse people in order to teach us to love all of his children. Okay? And yeah, that's one way of looking at it. Roll it down. Yeah, I feel like religion is poor people's therapy. It's help because to cope, so we can't just start antagonizing the only hope people have against despair. Yeah, well, again, I once met a guy who said he was being visited by demons. If I reject his belief that that is happening, because it's definitely happening for him, I can't help him. So I have to respect people's worldview. How do I know he's not being visited by demons? Samuel McCandles, Dr. Ligma Balls. Samuel, I mean, you're not that good at the ball looking thing, okay? You're just not. Crispy Bacon, I grew up very Christian. I no longer am, but funny to me how so few Christians can actually tell you what's in the Bible. Yes, there's an old joke, read the Bible, the world needs more atheists. Fulbrochi, driving home E. Okay. Pat Saint, if you're really a Jew, then where is your yarmulke? When my mother died, my father took all my judica away. Also, I have an enormous head, so yarmulkes don't fit. Juan into Pink, living in hell now. You're living it with my sister? Signing Sabrina, Art, Craig Dillinger, Richard, guess what? What? Charles Mackenzie, Jesus says free will to believe or not to believe. Russell Anderson, so isn't Islam, Christianity, and Judaism all Abrahamic religions? Yes, they are. All, the Torah, the Bible, and the Book of Quran all feature Abraham. Russell Anderson, so Jared Riley, I don't really agree with the Quran either. The violent Islamic teachings, but you have to take into account that the Knights Templar spent centuries slaughtering many in the name of God. Yeah. Okay. One way of saying that is that, and firstly, it's not just the Knights Templar. All right, many groups have killed in the name of their god. It is a sin to kill in God's name. but then it's a sin to take human life at all. All right. Do understand something. I mean, when I see the war in Israel, it is a wound to me that my people are at war and that so many lives are being taken, regardless of whose life. All right. Understand this. I do not want to see the people of Palestine die any more than I want to see my own people die. Sometimes, however, death is necessary. Signing Sabrina, it's hot right now. Or RM. What is RM? Shannon, hello, love. Craig Dillinger, Shannon, guess what? El Chinoles, hi Richard, what's your menu today? I visited church today, said hi. Stopped into a church. I passed along the way. Charles McKenzie, you look like Chris Farley with opposite personalities. Craig Dillinger, Charles McKenzie, guess what? El Chinos, whoa. You are speaking truth, amen, brother. Not even sure what you're referring to at this point. Charles McKenzie, what? Craig Dillinger, I am a Craig Dillinger. Crispy Bacon, sorry, I meant to say how very few Christians actually know what's in the Bible. Yes. Many times I've looked at a Christian and said, you know, there's a book about a Jew you should probably read. It's called the Bible. You may have heard of it. Wop, you get a scab on your head. Did you get attacked by... No, it's just a pimple. Signing Sabrina, Crispy Bacon, did you name your username after the disabled pig? Roll it down. I was born a Muslim. I feel like Muslims aren't much of a problem until they're in society full of other Muslims, but not being Islamophobic. Islam should have never left Mecca. Craig Dillinger. I am Craig Dillinger, Richard. I don't know who that is. Enrique Boy, how would one deal with a narcissistic mother? Walk away from toxic people, if you can. Craig Dillinger, hey Enrique Boy, guess what? Bill, can you say the N-word? Nuclear! That's a Trump joke. Only if you follow Trump would you get it. El Chenoy, singing in the rain. Singing in the rain. I'm singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling. I'm happy again. Signing Sabrina, Crispy Bacon is also the name of a famous disabled pig. Mike, I don't much about Jews. Do all celebrate Hanukkah? You put a Christmas tree up. Mike, my family has disowned me. And so I do not decorate for the holidays. As a child, my mother did insist on a live Christmas tree. And, technically speaking, all Jews I'm aware of celebrate Hanukkah. But I have no one to celebrate with. So, again. Pat Saint, do you have any close friends that you hang out with? No. Hi, Bear Nation. Hey, Richard, what's up? Not much. Craig Dillinger. Mike, guess what? Crispy Bacon. Everyone should give this guy a like and subscribe. Signing Sabrina, Chris. Mike, what Craig? Craig Dillinger. I'm Craig Dillinger, Mike. Signing Sabrina, you have the same username after a famous disabled pig. Bill, do you support Israel or Palestine? If you don't support Israel, you don't support Palestine, Bill. Understand something about Palestine. Firstly, in the Nakba, or War of Independence, if Israel had lost, there would be no Palestine. The West Bank was taken by Jordan, and the Gaza Strip was taken by Egypt. Israel kicked Jordan out of the West Bank and Egypt out of Gaza to make Israel whole again. All right? The UN said you cannot take land by force. So Israel said, all right, we'll let the Palestinians be Palestinians. This was when civil war broke out and Hamas took over the Gaza Strip. Hamas then killed their political opponents and dragged their bodies through the streets. Ever since then, they have been training their children to fight Israel. And it is Hamas that has starved the people and prevented UN aid from getting to them. Ryan Macbeth, who is a YouTuber and a military analyst, said, people have been asking me, is there a hunger problem in Gaza? And I told Ryan, I said, Ryan, there is a hunger problem in Los Angeles, one of the richest cities on earth, and there's no war happening here. I drive down the street and I see hungry people living in tents. So how could there not be a hunger problem in Gaza? There's a war happening. The thing there being is that, who is causing the hunger problem? Is it Israel or is it Hamas? Now, do understand that Hamas believes that when their children die in the conflict, they are giving these children a privilege. It is a privilege to them to die for their God. So when their children are butchered by them, and they blame Israel, they believe that they have sent those children to heaven, that they have done a great and wonderful thing. And when Israel sent their troops into Gaza and raided their schools, their elementary schools, their kindergartens, not only did they find weapons caches, but they found wooden and rubber rifles that were being used to train the children to kill. Now, the Geneva Convention does make this quite clear. A soldier in training is still a soldier. They are a legitimate target. These people have turned their entire society into an army against Israel. Now, further, Israel said, let us help the people of Gaza. Let's give them jobs. And there were people who crossed the border every day, checked into work, and were feeding their families because they were employed by Jews. We found that those people gathered intelligence for Hamas and drew up the maps that were used to navigate Israel on the October 7th attack. This is a blood hatred. The Jews are willing to live in peace. The Jews want to live in peace. The Palestinians apparently want the death of all Jews. So if I do not stand with Israel, I stand against my own life. If I do not stand with Israel, I stand for the chaos and war, the hatred, and the slaughter of the Palestinian children. Craig Dillinger, hey Bill, guess what, my friend? Jonathan Bazaras, hey brother. The Real Bendikev, favorite corn star. I don't watch corn. Current. Are you a punk rocker? Yes, you are, Richard. I think this is a flock of seagulls, Hairgut. Thank you very much. Craig Dillinger. I am Craig Dillinger singing. Laura Len said hi. Signing Sabrina. Okay, Craig. Egon Critzy. Well, isn't that interesting? Jordan and Egypt and the second and third countries that receive the most funding from America. Craig Dillinger. Laura Lamb. Guess what? Laura Lamb. Hey, friend. Long live Nim. 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 She's taking a nap right now. Craig Dillinger, guess what, salesman? James 10, Chris Farley, it's Rooster hungry for your boy. That's gay, James. Don't be gay. Laura Land, well, you can be gay if you want. Laura Land, chicken butt. Patriot Man, Where did he go? Long live 80s metal. Rock on, brother. The One Guy 82. The Live. Phil Barocci. Home. Going to shower and hopefully catch some of the live stream. All right, bro. Mustang Mike. Hello, Richard. Mike. Philly shower after. Intang, that was very well put about Israel. Thank you. You're welcome. Juan into pink. I wonder if I should get a pig. Crispy bacon. Well said. Jojo fan. I killed my hamster. Well, that's not nice. Don't go killing hamsters. Alexander Shkebin. Do you have any friends? A few. Aniki boy, you just missed a whole chunk of messages, but nobody said anything smart, so it doesn't matter. Two-headed girl. I have two heads. And we could do something with both of them, baby. Jojo fan, I went down the stairs. Mike, Richard, there is a religion where you get 72 virgins in afterlife. It's Islamic, but what if it's dudes? Let's just say they're virgins for a reason. Mike, what would Mr. Fabulous do? Well, he'd be fabulous. And he would probably do 72 virgins. I mean, in an afternoon. Just let's be clear, Mr. Fabulous, he can really, really knock him down. John Toomey, I'm tired of my thyroid condition. I want my energy back. I know the feeling, brother. If we get the transit back. Mike, I wouldn't want to have to teach 72 virgins how to do it. Again, it depends very much on the virgins. I mean, I'm pretty sure the 72 virgins in Islam come from IT. Jared Riley, when I stopped resisting and accepted the cynical nature of the world, I liberated myself from suffering. Where are violent and horny, self-gratifying apes, and then there's not much we can do about it. Ardor Armor, love you in Beverly Hills Ninja Boss. It's a wolfy wolf. Yes. You're very wolfy wolf. Crispy bacon, like he said, there's virgins for a reason. Read between the lines. Well, also, you guys do realize that child marriage is common in Islam. So, I mean, would you want 72 10-year-old virgins? I mean, you're in heaven. They don't grow up. Enrique boy, how important is diet? Um, Depends on what you mean. I mean, you can have a pretty strong physique with a bad diet, but you can't be like, it's a lot harder, So it's like, yes, you have to do a lot more paying for it in the gym. But if you're getting all your basic nutrients, where you get your calories isn't that important. Alexander Shkrbin, I'm an atheist, but don't do anything wrong. Try to be good. Will I go to hell according to believers? Certain believers. But Alexander, if you truly believe in God, you believe God to be just. So, no. Roll it down. Have you ever been catcalled? Oh, hell yes. Jared Riley, WTF happened to ISIS? They were like a prolonged one night stand. ISIS? I think they're still around. We just kicked the crap out of them. The thing about America is that we're good at kicking the crap out of people, but putting them down for good, not our thing. Big Goonaburger, thoughts on Trump sending federal troops on the streets of Chicago next week? Does it set a bad precedent? Big Goonaburger, we Americans believe in freedom. And yes, if you're a real American, you don't want troops on your streets. You believe in freedom. It sometimes is necessary. But I mean, I don't know if I'm down for the troop. I mean, I live in Los Angeles. The troops were standing around doing nothing. In Washington D.C., the troops were out there cleaning up litter. Like, we're not paying them to clean up litter. We need them back in the economy because they're National Guard. Remember that. They need to be back in the economy, keeping things going. Wiley, yo. Signing Sabrina. Bye, chat. I'm going live. Are you going to show the tatas? Isaiah, YouTube. What's your opinion on aliens and Area 51? Area 51 is a research base, and aliens are awesome. CB, thoughts on youth and gang violence? Bad. Gang violence bad. Mike, Sabrina, what kind of stream you do? Citing streamer, random ones. Jared Riley, freedom in its absolute purest form is chaos and anarchy. That's true. But I mean, this is America. We believe in being tough. John Toomey, Trump is also trying to get his hands Medicare. Yeah, what is going on with his hands lately? Signing Sabrina, I did a swimming stream earlier and hit the shower pools have. Mark Wald, have you ever been abducted by aliens? No, I mean, they tried, but the tractor beam couldn't lift me. Signing Sabrina was a hit, Mike. Mike, cool, congratulations. Someone watching, hello. Signing Sabrina, thanks, Mike. Laura Land, anger is a gift. Sheila Me Dolores, you look like Felix from Stray Kids. Phil Brochi, Mr. Fabulous. Signing Sabrina by Mike. Jared Riley, the entire requirement for heaven are way too high. You have to be perfect to get in. Big Kahuna have you ever talked to a flat earther? Is it possible to convince them that science is real? No. Phil Brochi, Clover update. Well, I talked to one of his closest neighbors the other day, and things are really bad, dude. But he said he was going to go to Home Depot and hire a plumber yesterday. See if that happens. Juan into pink. If anger is a gift, it's a Christmas at Juan's house. Felix's leftover brownie. You look like Felix from Stray Kids. And you're my leftover brownie, bitch. Aniki boy, do you think U.S. should have a strong relationship with post-Soviet countries? Yes. That's called soft power. Jared Riley, do you think man's search for meaning is overrated? No, I don't. Phil Barocci, Jesus, that man needs help, but it's hard to get him any help since he doesn't want it. Yeah, I know, dude. I'm thinking eventually he's going to have to be hospitalized. Crispy Bacon, some UFOs have a winch. I learned that the hard way. Yes, well, they're not lifting me. In Tanks, Stray Kids troll is overplaying. Get a new one. John Tooney, who way better looking, Beyonce or Raquel Welch in their prime? I don't know, dude. I'd bang them both. Now, Felix Leftover Brownie. You look like Jack Black. Big Kahuna thoughts on Taco Bell bringing back its items on their Y2K menu. I was not aware of that. I've never tried them. John Tooney, typo. In Tank, Taco Bell needs to bring back the taco salad. Jared Riley, can someone who is too far gone into nihilism and cynicism truly be saved in your opinion, or is it a lost battle? To quote Stephen Hawking, wherever there is life, there is hope. Red, hello, Uncle Ben. Mike, have you ever eat Wendy's baked potato or chili? Yes. Mike, if you saw my blog, Richard Reviews Everything, Wendy's chili is on there. I have not gotten around to transforming that blog entry into a short, but I am working on it. Whap! Did a girl scratch you in the head or something? No, it's just a pimple. Isaiah, YouTube. World War III is a thing. We are in it. Whether you guys like it or not, we are at war with Russia. Okay? It may be a cyber war, but it's no less a war, and people are no less dying. I mean, look. If we don't stop the Russians in Ukraine, we're going to wind up fighting on two fronts. We're going to be fighting in Europe and in Asia. And that's exactly what Xi Jinping wants. Well, Brochi, my ringworm went away. Well, that's good. Mike, what's worse, chemical warfare or nuclear? Well, it's hard to say, Mike. And I mean, there are chemical warfares that can make a place uninhabited for hundreds of years. There are nuclear warfares that make a place uninhabited for thousands of years. If the Americans had fired their bombs, the world would be basically a shithole for 2,000 years. If the Russians had, it would have been a shithole for 60 years. I mean, it depends. Crispy Bacon, the chili cheese burrito is coming back from Taco Bell. Praise Jesus. Crispy, have you subscribed to Random Street Theater? Because if you have, you could suggest I try that on camera. That's where I do my food reviews. Big Kahun Burger. Regular Cheetos or hot Cheetos? Regular. Isaiah, YouTube. What do you think the next pandemic will be? It most likely will be a flu virus. John Tooney, both. Phil Brochi, what's more annoying? Something stuck in your teeth or a wet socks? Depends on what's stuck in your teeth and how wet the socks are and why they're wet. I mean, if you stepped in a septic tank, the socks. Jared Riley, how were people in ancient civilizations better at dealing with depression than we are today? We don't know if they were better at dealing with depression. You know, I mean, ancient societies were different. Alexander Scrubbin, there was no space for depression back then, Jared Riley. You put your chin up or you died back then, probably. Yeah. I mean, there were people that survived. Bill, Sabrina, can I get the link? The Blue Baron, Wet Socks is worse. Big Guna Burger, favorite Mario game you ever played? The original. Bill, who lives in your house? Just me and the cats. The Blue Baron. They didn't have loads of free time for depression. That's true. Although there are cases where we know people were depressed in the olden times. But I mean, it's like in the Mayan Empire, I think they just killed you if you were depressed. The Blue Baron, depression is a luxury. Juan into pink. What is the picture on the computer screen? It is a false color of a asphalt parking lot in Glendale, California. Alexander Scribbing. Ooh, cat's lovely. Yes. Isolde, are you still down there? Ah. Eva. Eva, come on. Eva. Ow! 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 Eva. Isolde. I am covered in kitty. Bill, Tim Wassop, or J.D. Vance. Question 1, question 2. Trump or Kamala Harris? I voted for Harris. Adiki boy, do you ever miss the McRib? No. It comes back anyway. Jared Riley. So depression is just a matter of being understimulated. It's the same with soldiers. They don't feel depressed until they come back home. In war, they are happier, for lack of a better word. Um, Depression is a symptom, not a disease. And we're depressed for a reason, okay? Maybe it's because your body is in save energy mode because you don't know how to deal with your problem. But I mean, do understand something that, yeah, like my people come from a cold climate, and it was perfectly natural during the winter for us to be depressed because we'd stop burning calories and we'd consume more so that we could survive the cold. And then, when the spring came, when calories were more readily abundant, we'd come out of our depression. Oh, Mike, In and Out, your favorite, but what the worst fast food restaurant to you? Um, Well, to be completely honest with you, Jack in the Box is one I really, have had bad experiences with. I mean, I I have had to cut back on the fast food quite a bit, and I am a professional. I mean, I'm a food blogger, so I'm constantly looking for whatever the new thing is. Jack in the Box, they do a lot of let's discontinue and recontinue. Their food is of extremely poor quality and it's very salty. So, normally after Jack in the Box, I feel terrible. Big Kahuna Burger, ever been to a Comic Con or any other con? If so, what did you dress up as? I never did, no. John Tooney, best baseball slugger of all time. Think Ted Williams, last guy to hit 406. Jared Riley, do you think war provides purpose and meaning in one's life? You gotta find your own purpose. I mean, war can do that, but I mean, Alexander Sherman, aw, cuties. Right, Eva? I'm scratching your butt. This is your butt. I'm scratching your butt. The Blue Baron, I used to be a dog person. Now I'm a cat person. John Tooney, the cat is like your kid. Hunter Ninja, OMG, it's so cute. Hormo Lies, hi, your cat is so cute. Mustang Mike, Calico Cat, no, this is a tabby. Skittles is outside right now. And so is Kid. Jared Riley, how do you feel about bipolar theories on caveman shutting down and isolating during winter and being manic and energetic and horny during hunting season? Yeah, it checks out. Crispy Bacon, random street theater, correct. It's not popping up. I looked under the channel name. Yeah. Um, let's see here. Okay, if you go to my channel page, there's a section for links, and I mean it's there's a thing that says and 11 more links. Just click that, and then scroll down. It'll say links, and it'll read Richard reviews children's books, and then it will read Random Street Theater. That's the one with the white circle icon. Ow, wolf, wolf, and that'll bring you right to it. Or no, that will bring you to my blog, Random Street Theater. Okay, so that's scroll down to the one that says movie reviews. That's Random Street Theater. But yeah, there's a link on my channel page. Look, I have 6 channels and 6 blogs, so I've got a lot of stuff people can deal with. The Blue Baron, or also Crispy Bacon. You can Google ICE the number 9, RLN the number 0, and you'll find it. The Blue Baron, McDonald's burgers literally taste of nothing. Well, you have never tasted nothing then. They do taste like something. They're not great. Juan into Pink, Random Street Theater. Yes, Random Street Theater. Bill, do you like Jack in the Box tacos? They're okay. Uh, S211, is there a taint deodorant on the market? I'm sure there is. Big Kahuna Burger, favorite 90s sitcom. Mine was Frasier. I don't really remember which ones were 90s. Jared Riley, I'm a Norwegian ancestry. Do you think I will go to Valhalla if I die in a street fight? No. In tank, double tap a pen to like. Crispy Bacon, I found it, thanks. Damn now, I need to subscribe to you reading children's books. Jared Riley, why does depression increase the easier life becomes? You think it be the other way around? Some of the best depressed people I know are rich and retired. You know, we humans need purpose. George said hi. Crispy Bacon, Seinfeld was pretty good in the 90s. I didn't watch Seinfeld. I mean, guys, you gotta understand something. When I was in the 90s, I was very sick, and my father just refused to take me to a doctor. So, in tank, The Simpsons, Mike, The Giving Tree is best child book ever. No arguments. New founded zeal. Hey, this guy again. All right. Eva, I want everyone to see how pretty you are. Or not Eva. What am I doing? Isolde. Isolde. J.O. Bayo, random question. Favorite country? This one. Mike, did you say fridge be fixed tomorrow? No. Fridge will not be fixed tomorrow. Again, Mike, this fridge is like 15 years old. So I've gotta eat all the food inside. Okay, which will probably take 2 more days. Then I've got to unplug it and let it defrost. Once I've let it defrost, I've got to clean it. Big Kahuna Burger, dry heat or hot and humid? Which do you prefer? Dry heat. Alexander Scrabin, Tristan, and Isolde. I just have an Isolde at the moment. Mr. Charles, hey, chatting from Germany. Newfound zeal, please food in a Yeti cooler. I actually have 2 refrigerators, but the back one is full of beer. No, I've got like 24 beers in there, but Crispy Bacon, The Giving Tree, that's a classic, yeah. I mean, it's right up there with Where the Sidewalk Ends and Light in the Attic. And interestingly, guys, the wound on my thumb, a lot of the skin died after the infection came back. Crispy Bacon, or no, Flip Mode. What continent you guys talk about here? Anything really. Jared Riley, do you think there are people on Earth who actually have never faced an existential crisis or depression, or are they just lying? It's a non-zero possibility. XWB, Wong, Mike, beer is definitely more important than food. Um, what happened, Mike, was I ran across the 12 Beers of Christmas collection at the end of last year, and I bought it. I bought 2 of them, and I put them in my refrigerator. So, what I'm thinking I'm going to do for Random Street Theater is channel members are going to become part of my Beer of the Month club, where I drink a beer every month, and then non-channel members can wait a full year to see my opinion on the beer. And then this channel, there's going to be member content that's a year ahead of schedule, where it's the drinking videos. For those of you that don't know, YouTube was like, you need to start memberships now. And I was like, yes, okay, I'll start memberships now. And so I did. I have 2 tiers of membership on this channel. XWB Power said hi. Juan into Pink. Shal Silverstein was the greatest. XWB Power. Yeah, if you want to die, then yes, beer definitely is more important. Jared Riley, what is better for happiness, blue pill or red pill? Blue pill. Big Red, hello, how is your night going? Crispy Bacon, a 43 is just had to get stitches for the first time yesterday. I really hope I don't get an infection. Vitamin C, dude. Newfound Zeal, Black Pill. Phil Perochi, brains. All we want to do is eat your brains. We're not unreasonable. I mean, no one's going to eat your eyes. Alexander Shabrim, have you ever been in love? Like romantic, deep feeling for someone? No. Mike, Philip, where did you work? I forgot. Sean Hughes, fed my grandson Play Doh, now he's gone. Jared Riley, why does sniffing a woman's feet make me go to sleep? I have no idea. Isolde. Here we go. Isn't she pretty? Look at how pretty Isolde is. Oh, you gotta cut back here, sweetheart. It's a scab. Wolf. Oh, gross. Now I got it on my shirt. Jared Riley, why does Philip Rochi? I teach judo to a community center. Full-time student. Train and compete in judo, Mike. Crispy Bacon, I refuse to join any club that would have me a member, Groucho Marx. I refuse to join any club that would have me as a member. Phil Barocci, 1, two, 3, of. New found zeal, Flurkin. Jared Riley, I have ADHD, but sometimes anything to do with feet are the only thing that truly activates my brain. The Big Kahuna Burger, did you know that ancient Romans used to go Christmas caroling naked? Thoughts on bringing this tradition back? Uh, you know, it sounds like a great idea until you ask yourself what the carolers are going to look like. I mean, it's like, here we go, a wassailing, a sight to be seen. Love and joy unto you, and to you your wassailing too. But I don't want to see your grandma naked. Well, maybe I do. I don't know. Alexander Scrubbing, little baby, what a cute cat. Mary Mistrada, how pretty she is. Yes. Yes, my Isolde is just such a beautiful girl. Yes. You're so pretty, Isolde. So pretty. I miss your brother. Laura Land, yes, Lickums. Mike, do you write a lot of work? I write a lot of reports. Mostly when I'm at work. I mean, most of my writing is done at work. I write a lot of my blog posts and all that. So yeah, I write a lot at work. Every chance I get. Jared Riley, do you like Andrew Tate? Don't know who that is. Phil Brochi, we need more knockers. Yes, yes, yes. Always more knockers. Flip mode. Lol, ignore my question to talk about nothing. Crispy Bacon, nice kitty. Joshua Spring, hi. Jared Riley, have you ever had to psychoanalyze a school shooter? No. Bill Desmet, he does ignore almost all questions. No, I don't. I mean, let's be honest here. I've got 3 kitties on my lap. I've got more important things, though. Alright, guys, so it looks new is racist. Newfound zeal. Is this a Q&A? No, it's just what I do. Bill DeSmith. He reads only easy questions, liberal. Artmore, Richard, I think me and Mr. Fab will make a wonderful couple. Well, that's not gay. Big Kahuna Burger, did you know of anyone that has severe case of or reaction to COVID? Personally, no. I mean, well, no. I know a couple people who died of COVID. Jared Riley, would you rather have a 1 hour conversation with Jordan Preston or Ben Shapiro? Oh, Jordan Patterson or Ben, I don't know. Phil Rochi, is Peaches doing okay? I think so. Last I saw her, she was in the garage. She's doing fine, though. Still has a cold. Ernest T. Base, Ben. Mohammed Ta Gamiz. I. Where are you from? Los Angeles. Alexander Shkerbin. General Kenobi. Pinatel Eve. Hello from Philippines. Mustang Mike. Five Guys blows. Only had Five Guys once, and it was okay. I mean, you know. They're all, think of us as the Subway of hamburgers. That's not a good moniker. Jared Riley, what if get to the end and there was no purpose all along and it was all for nothing? Then you better learn to enjoy the ride. Well, Brochi, how long have you been streaming for and what will you do after your stream? I have been streaming for about an hour and a half, and I will probably do a stream on Random Street Theater tonight. Pamela Eve, you're cute. Okay. Let's just have a look at Pamela, shall we? Well, she looks happy. Not a very good picture, though. Big Gooneberger, ever won money on a scratch off ticket? No. Bill Desmet, did you think of Gavin Newsom? Be honest. He's not very well connected to the people. Mike, what if he got to heaven and your sister is God? My sister's the devil, Mike. I don't have any fear of that. Crispy bacon burger. I would love to do that for Christmas, but Montana is in winter. I can't get frost by there. Newfound zeal. Are the aliens coming? What makes you think they're not here? Phil Birchie, awesome. I can fall asleep to Random Street Theater stream. Newfound zeal. No! Newfound zeal. Gavin Newscomb. Alexander Scribeam, what if your sister is watching you right now? Pimatel Eva, what country you have? USA. Shannon, goodnight, love. Bill Desmet, F. Gavin Newsom. Well, that's gay. Why would you F him? Mike, you're streaming on other channels tonight. Yes. I'm trying to stream on Random Street Theater at least every night. Big Huneberger, ever seen a show in Vegas? If so, which one would you recommend? Never won in Vegas. Shannon Neal. Unified. You look like my uncle. Are you from Portland? No. Shannon, can I have a moment of your time? Of course, Shannon. Wait, do you mean a moment of my time, or do you mean a moment of time with my tongue? It's, I mean, you have to shower first for that. Mohammed Tagamiz, I, my friend Iran. Senemilia Sera Benevul said hi. Crispy Bacon, would I love it? Pimital Eva, whoa. Senamili Sera, do you remember me? Do you remember me? Big Hunenberger, favorite Robin Williams movie? Jumanji? No. Dead Poet Society, maybe? Shannon, I need to make a fast vent. Okay. Sonoli, did your scar heal? Some of them did. Unified, are you an overnight manager here? No. Shannon, I lost a great friend from breast cancer. I'm having a hard time. Oh. Yeah, that's rough. I lost my mother to breast cancer. Big Huneberger, do you play any musical instruments? No, I do not. Mike, does your sister have a sense of humor in case her or her lawyer are watching? No, my sister does not have a sense of humor, and she will steal anything she can from me. Jordan Tweener, what's good? Bill Desmet, are you the kid from Sandlot? No. Bill Desmet, are you the... read that one, okay. Archer, meow. Senamanili, do you remember me the time I said that I would pray for your scars? Yes, I do. Shannon, I'm crying so hard. I'm 50 and I've known her for 13 years old. Yeah. You know, Shannon, when you get up in years like we are, you need to remember that pain is the contrast to joy. And, you know, we have to remember the good times, not the bad. It's just one of those things about life is that, you know, it's like with my cats. Every cat I own right now is a cat I'm probably going to outlive. And, you know, I tell you, I was just at the store today and I saw something caramel flavored. I remembered my beloved Caramel, who I had for 12 years. And I almost broke down right there. I almost started crying right in the middle of the store. And I sat there thinking, I may never be able to look at Caramel again the same way. But Caramel was actually my cat when I named him after another cat named Carmel, who was a cat that my, well, people I knew had. And when I was in college, I would sleep over at their house every now and again, and Carmel would curl around my face. And it's a very loving animal, but he died. And, you know, you never really get used to pain, you just sort of deal with it. Philip Rochi, I'm sorry for your loss, Shannon. I lost my aunt to breast cancer. Yeah. Bill Desmet, Shannon, be strong. GLP 1989. Can't cats live pretty long? Yeah, I had one live 25 years. Phil Brochi, sigh. I miss Caramel. Yeah, me too. Nisha, you look like Crispy Bacon. Robin Williams had so many great movies. Yeah. You know, Crispy, when Robin Williams died, his fans actually flocked to the film What Dreams May Come, which was about dealing with death. And I mean, yeah, you know, the transformation of life. It's a trippy film. Not one of his more popular, but his fans all watched that in mourning. Bill Dismayed. Cats taste. GLP 1989. Get a tortoise or a parrot. They'll outlive you 100%. Cinemali. Hey, you look pretty nice because I prayed for you. I cried for hours for you so you can heal from your father, Jesus. Shannon, thank you. That was a big hug from distance. It's the biggest hug we can give you, Shannon. GLP, I'm a dog person, but I feel, well, dude, GLP, I came home from work one day and there was a dog at my house. It was this big black monster. He was 70 pounds as a puppy, and his skin was rotting off. My father had very badly abused this animal. And I remember he cried and he cried, the dog. He just cried all the time. Because he thought if you left him, you would never come back. And I remember I was in my backyard one day and I put my arm around him and he pulled away from me and I scratched his ear. And he pressed his head into my hip. Now, my father had given the dog to my sister, and that meant that my brother was taking care of the dog, which meant he lived with me. And I can tell you something, that dog loved being my dog more than anything else on this earth. My brother would go in the backyard and he'd try to play with the dog, and the dog would always come to me. And, people would say, well, I mean, who feeds the dog? I said, well, my brother feeds him most of the time. They go, well, who walks him? Well, my brother walks him most of the time. And they go, well, you got me. I got no idea why that dog loves you so much. But, you know, I made the dog's pain go away through love and care. Philip Rochi, I would like to believe that Caramel is happy and running in endless green fields right now. Yeah, I'd like to believe that. Newfound Zeal. What's the lore? Lore on what? Crispy Bacon, Shannon, I'm so sorry for your loss. Big Kahuna Burger, are you a Tarantino fan? My favorite is... That feels really out of place right now. Blog HQ. Is Islam... I married a 13-year-old princess. Okay. Shannon gave me the heart. GLP, is that a map or a slide from a microscope on the PC? That's actually asphalt. Funny Guy, 4221. Jackie Brown is underrated. Okay, don't know about that. Nisha, you watch UFC? No, I do not. GLP, huh? Explain. You need to give me more facts on that. Newfound Zeal got the lore from the dog history. Look, I've talked about August many a times, okay? And it was a big black Doberman Pinscher. And he was purchased by my stepmother for illegal breeding reasons. Okay? And I had him for 12 years before I had to put him down. You know. And I tell you, my brother was really badly affected by putting that dog down. But he was in a lot of pain. Mike, how do you think the first human ever got a pet? What was the first pet? That is a really good question. The first pet was probably a food animal that somebody kept. Although, um, it's like with cats. Yeah, probably used. Well, no, probably something that we cohabitated with. I mean, I think the first domesticated animal was a dog, but I'm not sure. Okay, yes, the dog was the first pet. been around for 30,000 years. And likely what happened was the dog or the wolf before domestication probably consumed waste from humans, like bones and such, and cohabitated, and humans would throw them the bones from their food, and the dog would eat that, and they developed a symbiotic relationship. Crispy Bacon, animals don't judge, they just know good people. No, they don't. Artmore, when's the other channel going live? I don't know. I'm gonna take a short break and then I'm gonna go live. So probably shortly. Nisha, Mike, you know Drew? Cuban Crisis. The first pet was a yak. Yakety yak. GOP. Whoa. Read what I wrote about almost like I'm omniscient. Alexander Shabrim. I have to go work now. It's not late here. Bye bye. Love from the Netherlands. GLP 1982. I am ChatGPT. Fred Chambers, still getting my comments together. Big Hunenberger, yakety yak, don't talk back. Mary Mistrada. Uh-oh. Okay, guys. So I have to take a quick break here anyway, so I will likely be back on my other channel, Random Streets Theater, within the next half hour. If you want to join me there I will be. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I'm Richard.